there was a young man who we were good friends, and I knew that he would like to date me, and I shared the same sentiment that I would like to date him as well. But he took a long time asking me on a date. I don't know if this is like common for men, but anyway, he took a long time. And in that waiting, Jesus really was wooing me, if you will. Like, he was drawing my heart ever more closer to him. I was growing more in my prayer life. I was going to adoration. I was going to daily mass. I was entering deeply into prayer. So by the time he finally asked me on a date and I said yes, my heart was really so much more drawn to Jesus and this call to consecrated life, or to be a religious sister. So I went on this date with this young man, but I didn't have any peace. My heart was far from peace. And I went on this date, and I know I'll just tell you the story, but we were at a dance club, and the dance club was kind of packed. And this young man, he grabbed my hand to lead me out of the dance club. And as he led me out, my hand was like burning. And it was like Jesus reminded me that hand is not for him. And I left that date knowing I had to bring this to my spiritual director. I had to begin to say, I think God is calling me to religious life. I think he wants me to be a consecrated sister. I had to bring it because no longer could I deny it anymore. Like, I had gone on this date and Jesus was very clear that the hand that this man was holding was not for him. And so I began to open up about it in spiritual direction. I began to talk to my spiritual director about my discernment and the little things that had happened along the way and why I felt the Lord was calling me. And that was very freeing for me, because as I spoke it, I began to realize that limit that I put on myself, that I wasn't good enough, was only something that I thought. That wasn't something my spiritual director thought. That wasn't something Jesus thought. That was something that I was placing on myself. And so even though I went on that date, I didn't leave the date thinking I'm going to be a sister. I just know in direction, the priest had encouraged me to enter more deeply into prayer life with Jesus and to, in a sense, date him, if you will, like date Jesus, spend time with him and see, is this something that he's calling me to? And so that's what I did after that moment. I continued to enter into prayer. It was the second half of the year, so it was my spring semester. And I was getting near to exam time at the college or the university I was at. And during the exam time, the exam week, there's just a lot of studying taking place, a lot of late nights. And one of the faculty members, he had his office right next to the computer lab where most of the students all studied. I went to the computer lab wasting time, and the faculty member actually invited me to have a seat in his office and to chat with him. And I was like, this is weird, because I had never even had a moment where I spoke to this professor. And as I sat there, he had asked me my summer plans and the summer plans that I had. So I told him, I'm going to go to summer camp. I'm going to serve at a Native American reservation for the summer. I'm really excited about it. And then I had also told him that I was going to visit a few convents. And he was like, really? So then he started to share with me his relationship he had with his wife and his family. And I was like, that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. He was really sharing the sentiment of his heart. And I thought, well, marriage is beautiful. But then he shifted gears and he started to talk about consecrated men and consecrated women, priests and sisters. And when he started talking about religious life, my heart was just leaping out of my chest. And I knew that that's really what Jesus was calling me to. That desire that I had been praying for, it wasn't that the desire wasn't there. It was that Jesus had to show me that he's calling me and he would make me happy. And that sacrifice would make me happy. I left that conversation with this faculty member and I bolted to the chapel. And I knelt in the chapel and just said, Jesus, yes, I'll be a religious sister. I'll be your spouse, I'll be a consecrated nun. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to do, but I knew that he was calling me, and I couldn't deny it anymore. So when I went to the chapel, the tabernacle was maybe like 15 feet in front of me, and I just sat down and actually sat on the ground. And I looked up and I could see a statue of our Blessed Mother Mary, and I could see Jesus in the Eucharist. And I just was like, yes, Jesus, yes, I will be your spouse. I will give my life to you. And that brought a lot of joy and peace within. And also just, there's something special when I was able to recognize that Jesus wanted me for himself. It was just so deep within. And anyway, it was a culmination of, just even myself as a young girl feeling like God didn't really care about me because my mom passed away. But to recognize in that moment that Jesus cared an incredible amount for me, so much so that he wanted me for his own, that he who made me for himself. And there was just an incredible amount of peace within me and joy, and just that the Lord would delight in me that way. Yeah. My spiritual director, he had said to visit 3 communities, even though I felt like I knew that I was called to the Society of Our Lady of the Most Holy Trinity. He had told me to visit 3. I visited the Dominicans in Ann Arbor, and then I visited the Franciscan Sisters, the CFRs in the Bronx. The glove for my vocation fits with the Sisters of the Society of Our Lady of the Most Holy Trinity. And I was so happy to join our community, and I couldn't wait to join, but I had to do a year of mission work. So I did a year of mission work with our community, and then I entered the convent in September of 2005. So religious life is so blessed. Like, we are so blessed in the convent because we live with other women who are striving for holiness. And so that's a huge blessing for me. I love my sisters. I love the sisters I live with. I love the support we have, that no matter what, we are there for one another, and we are connected to one another. We pray with one another, and that would be the second greatest gift is the sisters that I live with. And then I also love the apostolate that God has given me. So my job is Director of Youth Ministry, which is just a fancy title. It means I get to hang out with teenagers quite often, and I get to share with them Jesus. And I love it because of the fact that my own conversion happened when I was a teenager. And I know what it's like to be in darkness. And so one of the greatest joys I have as a sister is to give Jesus to other people. Give Jesus by the words I say, by the smile on my face, by the interactions, by the events that I lead, just by interacting with the young people. That's a huge blessing for me. But I also love working with adults. So Bible studies, giving talks, helping at retreats. I love that as well. I also like to do rosary making. So I make rosaries with people, young and old. I love to rollerblade. I like to rollerblade a lot. I don't get to do it as much as I want to, but I do like to rollerblade. In fact, when I first moved to Corpus Christi, one of the news people around here videoed me rollerblading, and so I'll still go places and people will still ask me, did you bring your rollerblades? So I love to rollerblade. I love to play sports, softball. I was on a softball team like last year. I love to play basketball. I love swimming, and anything that's sports I pretty much like to do. For the person who is discerning and feels like the Lord is calling them, but maybe they have a lot of fear, or apprehension, or anxieties, whether or not this life would make them happy. I would encourage you to say that simple prayer. Jesus, give me the desire. Because He is so faithful, He'll give you the desire and He'll make it very clear to you. If the Lord is calling you, He'll give you the desire and He'll make it very clear. And all of the fears and apprehensions, He will wash them away. And He'll give you light and peace and joy.